And the biggest change I see is just confidence and conviction. Like, you're a great example. You were in the first summit in Nashville and you were constantly raising your hand. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, explain that. Everyone knew like a star's being born there, Mark D. Williams. And sure enough, now you're part of the summit.
All right, I'm with Doug Duvall from Motif Media. Many of you know him as the creative mind and storyteller behind brands like NS Builders, Modern Craftsman, the Brad Levitt Podcast, the Curious Builder Podcast. I'm sure there's more that I'm not naming.
Builders, Budgets, Beers.
Builders, Budgets, and Beers,
The Building Science Show, or the BS and Beer, which is Building Science and Beer Show. So that gets a little confusing.
You interact with a lot of builders, yes. A lot of storytelling. I wanted to interview you as we were kind of here on halfway through the Contractor Coalition Summit. We are on our 7th edition of the Contractor Coalition Summit.
Yep.
You've seen at this point in excess of 300 builders kind of go through the program, probably maybe even more actually. What are observations that you have? You're capturing everyone's stories, you're interviewing them, you're watching it unfold, obviously from a marketing standpoint, but I'd love to get your point of view. You're witnessing all of this. What do you see about when people come, like as they come as their brand? And everyone's different, obviously, but are you able to see some perspectives of like the type of people that are coming to these events?
Sure. I mean, the single number one thing I think everyone that has in common coming to this is they want to get better, naturally. And the biggest change I see is just confidence and conviction. Like, you're a great example. You were in the first summit in Nashville and you were constantly raising your hand. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, explain that. And everyone knew like a star's being born there, Mark D. Williams. And sure enough, now you're part of the summit. And I think a Meg out of Billings out of, she out of Oklahoma?
Nope, she's out of Boise,
Idaho. Another one. Like, she came to the summit, and after that, she kind of, not saying the summit it might have helped her along the journey. She was going to get there anyway. You were going to get there anyway. But it sort of gave you guys the confidence to just take the step, take the leap, for the cliche.
Yeah.
But I definitely see confidence, and being able to charge more takes confidence. Trusting you have the right processes in place takes confidence. So that's the biggest thing I see, especially when multiple people come to the summit. Because I've interviewed just about everyone who's come to the summit. I missed Austin. That's the only one I haven't been to. There's just a scheduling conflict, but I've basically interviewed everyone, and some of those people are multiple times, multiple visits, and that's the number one thing is confidence.
Confidence. Yeah, it's interesting. I think people have a strong sense of who they are, but I think, Brad, Tyler, Morgan, Nick, and now myself, it's like you have super fans that really set you on your way and really help lift you up. I'm convinced that builders don't charge as much as they should, and a lot of it is confidence. And when you have people like Brad and Nick and Tyler saying like, no, you are good enough. And I think you see it from your peers in your industry, regardless of where you're at in your career, whether you're a small remodeler or a production home builder, custom luxury, whatever it might be, confidence is never really out of style. And regardless of what you do, it's going to be a force multiplier in your business.
For sure. Yeah, and even on the other side of this, I think the vendors walk away with a completely different perspective, and from a marketing standpoint, like seeing what builders sort of respond to, like it's basically like cracking open the brain and seeing how they think. It's an intimate setting like the summit is, and also the opportunity to like, hey, this is a great place to connect with people at the source.
Well, and when else do you get to spend 3 days with 30 to 40 owners of businesses? It's a huge opportunity for our brand partners to really get into the mind. We just interviewed someone right before you came on camera, and I was really impressed with their answer. They said that even if they didn't take away any business, it was so worth it because they got to see how builders run a business, which allows them to bring more value to their existing clients. I thought that was a really insightful answer.
Yeah, Yeah, that's exactly it. And to take away the course part of this, which is vital and arguably the most important thing, but I think the networking is almost as important, where like you're having meals together, you're going on runs together, and then at night there's basically 5-6 hours of just conversing with people, sharing stories and so forth, because everybody's from different corners of the country, and it's always very different markets. And even if you're from the same markets, like everybody has a different perspective, and it really helps, I think, people look at their own problems and like, okay, I never thought about that, and you know, learning from each other, even not from the host.
Last question here. You've seen, obviously, Nick, Brad, Morgan, Tyler, and now myself, as you are behind the camera capturing the host point of view. You see all the organization to pull off an event like this. You know, Morgan and her team are incredible. You know, the sales process that goes into it. What have you sort of seen either change, or what sort of behind the curtains sort of opinion could you give of how have the main core changed or sort of improved even from Nashville 3 years ago to Omaha today?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just a big thank you and shout out to the construction to style team. I mean, they're the reason this all comes together. So everyone that's attended a summit owes them a big thank you and a hug because they're the heart and soul of it. And that's not to say that the other hosts aren't involved, but yeah, it's just elevated. Each summit's a little bit more dialed in. You know, everybody's a little more familiar with one another and what they bring to the table, and it's just refinement. You know, I think, and I'm going to divide the audience here. I'm from New England, so Tom Brady's the greatest to ever do it, and he saw quarterback coaches when he's arguably the greatest ever to get 0.1% better, and that's what's happening here at the summit. It's getting just refinement and better every time. So I see that on the microscopic level every time. It's just getting a little better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we all inspire each other, either on a human level, a personal level, a business level. I talked to, Brad and Nick and Tyler earlier, and I like to ask them the same question, like, what have you learned? And it's always really interesting to hear their points of view. And it's like, because people are so diverse and we're all so different, there's always that little micro tuning. And we learn from each other. I mean, we're constantly innovating. I mean, the businesses that, Brad, Nick, Morgan, Tyler, and they change because we all change. Life is dynamic. And so seeing like even the content that they're producing now is significantly different. So it's fun to see alumni come back and be like, they've put into place a lot of things that they've learned, but there's a lot of new stuff, particularly around AI in branding. And like, that's such a fast evolving field. The people that can adopt that technology and that mindset, regardless of your industry, but for us, it's in construction.
Yeah.
The more we can do that, obviously the more we can stand out.
Yeah. And the host could easily turn in the same sort of courses they put out at Nashville at the first summit, but like the amount of people who come back, I think, really keep them on their game and keep that refinement, because it's just sharpening that blade. I see Nick and Brad out before their sessions every time, just doing that one last look through, making sure everything's right. And it just, think of the changes that have happened since Nashville. Like, there was no mention of AI.
Right.
Tennessee.
Right.
So Morgan's
3 years ago.
So Morgan's presentation is almost completely different than it was. Not to say that what she was talking about 3 years ago is thrown out the window, but it just, in that short period of time, a lot has changed.
Well, appreciate your time. Thanks for all your effort behind the cameras and getting everybody's story. You guys do awesome work. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.